this, they're like, this is just absurd. The fact that California, up until a lawsuit forced them to change some things, had 3.5 million more voters than they had adult citizens. Just conceive of that for a moment. 3.5 million more voters registered than adult citizens. And then we look at things like states that are implementing the ability for people to become police officers without actually having U.S. citizenship. And then when we dive into the big one, which is what's going on with our U.S. military, that the fact that they are actively trying to turn our U.S. military into a citizenship churning business. The fact that you can go to basic training and walk out of your swearing in ceremony at basic training and immediately get your citizenship. One ceremony follows the other. Yeah, not you serve your term, but rather when you get when you pass your basic training, you automatically get citizenship. This is absolutely insane, and there are a lot of people availing themselves of this. 12,000 in 2023, and even more it's ramping up. It was ramping up even into the end of 2023, and this we had over 12,000 naturalized citizens from the military, and that's concerning. I mean, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. You know, if you're going to serve our country in the military, getting citizenship doesn't sound like an unfair proposition, right? But when we look at that, there are over 50,000 naturalized citizens, they're foreign born, in the U.S. military, and there are an additional 45,000 non-U.S. citizens in the military. You start seeing that that's closing in on 10% of the U.S. military is foreign born. And that's, you know, they were born with a different citizenship than the United States. Does that concern you? That more and more of the people, the only people that are allowed to carry guns are the police and the military, apparently. And it seems like we're giving away all those positions to people who aren't U.S. citizens or who weren't U.S. citizens at the beginning of the process.
Yeah, that's why, like we say, you know, the United States is Babylon the Great, which is a modern day Rome, and this is pretty much the Roman Empire being filled up with barbarians all over again. All right, so I'm gonna give all glory and praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua before I proceed. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders, which are the teachers and leaders of Israel. And I want to give peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the holy elect, the remnant. All right, beginning with the 144,000. Shalom to you, shalom to the rest of the 1/3 men, women, and children as well of the elect fold. And I pray this be an edifying lesson. And what you hear Mr. Popular going into is what's going on right now with the current military. You got all these migrants, all these people flooding into the states. And, they're getting citizenship. They're being put into the military. They getting citizenship. They getting resources. They have refuge cities, to flood into. And you're going to start to see more and more of these people, doing the police work, doing the military work, invading one another. That's something that a brother did in New York, a video about. Or Chicago, rather. Well, he's in New York, but in Chicago, I want to say that, those migrants, they're starting to get desperate. It's cold and they don't have much. So what this is, like I said, is, a repetition of what happened in the past. And I was looking at these comments and the guy said it here, which I want to start with that. He said, nothing new under the sun. Buckle up, buttercup, and have no fear. And remember, tomorrow is not promised. So let's start with the scripture that he's quoting, which is biblical, that nothing is new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:9 by King Solomon. The thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Now, we're going to show you why this isn't new. All right, because as we have been taught and as we teach that America, the United States, is the modern day Rome. OK, And as it tells you here on history.com, the 8 reasons the Roman Empire fell, the number 8 reason was the weakening of the Roman legions, which the legion was pretty much their army. It says, for most of its history, Rome's military was the envy of the ancient world. All right, it was the envy of the ancient world. Let's look up the word envy. Ill will, a feeling of discontent or covetousness with regards to another's advantages, and that was Rome's advantage, was their military, which we're gonna go ahead and get that real quick in Daniel, then we'll continue reading. But it was prophesied to have this military advantage. This is Daniel 7 and 7, which are the visions of the 4 beasts, which represent 4 different heathen empires that we would be, under captivity under as the Israelites. So this Daniel 7 and 7, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and the great iron teeth represent the military. All right. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And what were they doing? They were going all over the world at that time, that whole region, North Africa, Northwest Africa, West Asia, Western Europe, rather, all the way to parts of Asia. I want to say maybe Asia Minor around that way too. And they were doing what? They were they were making people vassals of the Roman Empire. They were making them, submit to the eagle. It says, and it stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. All right, the diversity came from the fact that they had a senate. All right, they didn't do the traditional monarchy that, other heathen kingdoms did before. And the 10 horns represent the 10 vassals that it had, underneath them, which, that was their power. They had the sword, the military, but, they had so much land because, they conquered other people, and they made them like vassals of the Roman Empire. Like even us, we were vassals to the Roman Empire. We had our land. We were able to kind of keep our customs and do our thing, but, we had to pay tribute to them. All right. So let's go back to this article. It says, but during the decline, for most of its history, Rome's military was the envy of the ancient world, which when we read envy, it was a feeling of discontent or covetousness with regards to another's advantages, success, or possessions. So that military was their advantage. But during the decline, the makeup of the once mighty legions began to change. Unable to recruit enough soldiers from the Roman citizenry, all right, which that's happening today in the United States. The U.S. is unable to get enough soldiers, enough fit and capable, qualified soldiers for the military. So it says emperors like Diocletian and Constantine began hiring foreign mercenaries to prop up their armies. The ranks of the legions eventually swelled with Germanic Goths and other barbarians, so much that the Romans began using the Latin word barbarus in place of soldier. So they had so many barbarians, they just started saying barbarus. All right, so we seeing this, the beginning of this happening now. All right, so while these Germanic soldiers of fortune proved to be fierce warriors, they also had little or no loyalty to the empires right now. So they bringing all these people here that have no loyalty to the United States. They just coming here for resources or for money, opportunity, or whatnot, but they don't give a damn about the furthering of the U.S. It says, in their power, hungry officers often turned against their Roman employers. In fact, many of the barbarians who sacked the city of Rome and brought down the Western Empire had earned their military stripes while serving in the Roman legions. So they got in and they learned the skills that Rome taught them and used those to help take down the empire. You know what I'm saying? And you got people that do that now, that join the military to learn, basic training, survival skills, how to survive in the woods, how to, learn some discipline, learn how to hunt, how to, do different little things. And they're going to use these things to thwart this kingdom. All right. So we read that in Daniel 7. And we'll go ahead and get 8, then we'll jump to a similar prophecy in Revelation. It says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. All right, and this little horn represents the United States, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. All right, 3 of the first horns are talking about what? The 3 horns that gave birth to the United States were the French, the British, and the Spanish. All right, from those 3, you got the United States, which came from the horn of the British. All right, primarily. It says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. So with that, let's go to Revelation 13, the beast from the sea. And 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right, the beast is metaphoric. Okay, the beast having 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads represent the 7 various Edomite empires, and 10 horns are the various vessels under Esau. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. All right, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. All right, the beast that was like unto a leopard represents the Greeks. The feet were as the feet of a bear, which represent the Russians. And his mouth is the mouth of a lion, which represent the British. It says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And the dragon represents the Roman Empire. Because of what? Because of that great military. That's what established Esau's name in the earth. It began with the Greeks, but it was established by the Romans. Okay, and it says, gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And why is it the mouth of a lion? Because the marching orders come from Britain, where the real heads of Esau reside. Those Rothschilds, them folk. All right, verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wanted after the beast. So one of the heads that was wounded to death represent the Roman Empire. That Roman Empire was taken down 476 AD, and then that wound, all right, because we just read about part of the reasons why it went down. Because even when you jump up to reason number 7, it says Christianity and the loss of traditional values. So we seeing that happen all together again. So like back then you had Christianity, which was really the doctrine of Yahushua. That started that. All right, so that was turning people away from the Roman values and the Roman system. Just like right now, you can replace Christianity with, for lack of better words, Hebrew Israelism. All right, the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. That's taking a lot of minds of the Jakes, because that's really what it's about. Jake. The world has to have Jake involved in the bullshit to keep it going. So what the Hebrew Israelite doctrine is doing is taking Jake away from the values of Babylon, the ways of Babylon. And it says, in the loss of traditional values, right? And the traditional values of even Babylon, in the United States, is declining. All right. The traditional values are declining. I was working a job the other day at a school, and I noticed that the students had hats on, do-rags, while in class. And it's like, damn, traditionally it was like a value. It was like a tradition that when you went into the building, you didn't wear a hat. And in schools, you didn't wear hats in class or hats in schools or whatnot. But it's like now, pretty much damn near anything goes. All right. So it says the decline of Rome dovetailed with the spread of Christianity. And that's why I think they kicked the Jews out of Rome. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, this Acts 18:1. After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them. Now, why did he kick them out of Rome? Because of this doctrine, right? It was making a move. It reached the gates of the nobles. So Reading this again, it says the edict. It says, and some have argued with the spread of Christianity, and some have argued that the rise of a new faith helped contribute to the empire's fall. Yeah, yeah. The rise of all these Jakes acknowledging the Hebrew Israelites is helping to contribute to the fall of this empire. You know, Jake repenting ultimately, because that's why. Let's get Jeremiah 50. 50 and 7, it says, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. So when Jake started repenting from their sins, primarily this time by believing in Yahushua, right, that is causing things to change. So going back to this article, some have argued that the rise of a new faith helped contribute to the empire's fall. So the rise of that faith moved the time forward on the timeline of prophecy. It started becoming time for that empire to fall. Same thing here in modern day Rome. Us coming back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the elect repenting, getting sealed, right? That's causing this empire to fall. You know, it's causing things to shift on the timeline of prophecy. All right, so I'm not going to read that no more, but I'm going to go ahead and close. No, man, I'm going to go ahead and finish that. Salakia. It says the Edict of Milan legalized Christianity in 313, and it later became the state religion in 380, which this was something else. This wasn't the actual doctrine of Yahushua. They kind of perverted it, twisted it, and, you know. It says these decrees ended centuries of persecution, but they may have also eroded the traditional Roman value system. Christianity displaced the polytheistic Roman religion, which viewed the emperor as having a divine status, and also shifted focus away from the glory of the state and unto a sole deity. All right, but this time, once this place go, it ain't gonna be no other false doctrines. It's gonna be strictly truth, reigning throughout the earth. Yahweh Shema Shai and the holy elect. Cleaning this place up and getting everything on point. Isaiah chapter 2, Micah chapter 4. The law of the Lord going out throughout Jerusalem, and just truth. No more of the lies and falsehood. All right. Just looking at these comments. All right. Can these foreign-born soldiers understand commands spoken in English? More importantly, which country are they loyal to? And shout out to the Yahweh Shem Al through the apostles, man, because they've been saying that it's going to be foreign troops over here. They say UN troops, but, we'll see what happens. Ultimately, we're going to see what these foreigners do, man, because it sure is a lot of foreigners that I'm seeing, particularly Hamites, that I've been noticing. So, we'll see what happens. All right, so Lord willing, this will edifying lesson. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Shalom.